Good evening and thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News 10 at 10, where we give you more news in less time. Let's get started. The search continues tonight for a Moses Lake couple who disappeared over the weekend, leaving family members worried for their safety. KREM 2's Kyle Simchuk spoke to the Grant County Sheriff's Office today, and Kyle, authorities in several counties now getting involved.
Well, that's right, Mark. This couple hasn't been seen or heard from in 3 days, but both of their cell phones were tracked in a remote area. However, when deputies went to that site, there was no sign of them.
A mystery in Moses Lake as authorities search for Charles and Teresa Bergman. The couple went missing Sunday when police say Charles drove to pick up his wife at the Spokane airport. That's where Teresa was last seen around 12:30 in the morning after her flight landed.
They're still trying to vet some of the preliminary information that the families provided.
Relatives called the sheriff's office when the couple did not return home as expected. Detectives haven't released a whole lot of information, but they believe the couple was traveling in a 2013 silver Chevy Malibu with license plate BLU 5395. The sheriff's office looked through data from the couple's cell phones. A signal was last recorded in a remote part of Lincoln County. Deputies there searched the location but found no sign of the couple or their car.
And so that's just an example of a few leads that they're following up on, trying to get more information.
The Grant County Sheriff's Office has posted information on their Facebook page, which has been shared nearly 1,000 times. They're asking anyone with information or those who may have seen the couple to come forward. Kyle Simchuk, KREM 2 News.
All right, let's talk weather now because tomorrow is officially the first day of fall, but don't worry, we're not done with the warm weather just yet, at least. Chief Meteorologist Jeremy Lagoon joining us in the Outdoor Weather Center with more on what we can expect as we head toward the weekend. Jeremy?
Mark, get this. It's raining right now in the Outdoor Weather Center.
Okay.
Yeah, we're there. We got a storm lifting in. It's now in northeast Oregon, and that storm moves in, and it's bringing us some more widespread showers. Zooming in just a bit, you can see our little band moves into this central part of Spokane County, and that includes us here on the South Hill. A little bit of light drizzle coming down, that's about it. Quickly moving toward Coeur d'Alene. Notice this little patch is starting to dissipate, but we've got another push of moisture working its way toward Lookout Pass. And that continues. We get some heavy rain in central Idaho. Some of that makes its way over into the Palouse, but really our big push of rain happens early tomorrow morning, and then by 10 a.m. we'll start to just kind of pull all of this out. And by noon, I think we're pretty good. By tomorrow afternoon and evening, more sunshine expected across the region. By Friday, looking nice and sunny again. Temperatures start out in the 50s thanks to the rain and then climb into the 70s for many of us.
Sounds good, Jeremy. We'll check back in with you later in the broadcast. Developing tonight, Spokane police looking for a missing Indigenous man. Police are looking for this man, 41-year-old Eugene Klatish, who goes by the name Layton. He is 5 feet 10 inches tall, weighs about 190 pounds. He has dark brown eyes, dark brown hair, and was last seen wearing a dark hoodie, jeans, and a black baseball cap. He was last seen leaving Sacred Heart Hospital yesterday. Due to a traumatic injury, he may have difficulty speaking and has a history of mental health issues, according to officers. Police are asking the public to call Crime Check if they have any information about his whereabouts tonight. And looking ahead to tomorrow, city officials are calling for the cooling tent set up across from that homeless camp on I-90 to be removed. Yesterday, Spokane Fire Marshal Lance Dahl sent a letter to the nonprofit operating the tent saying that Jules Helping Hands has until tomorrow at 4 p.m. to take that tent down. But Jules Helping Hands says for now, that tent is there to stay. Coming up in 10 minutes, why the organization says they are not planning on taking it down. Well, now to our night beat with a quick look at today's top stories. A man accused of killing several dogs while running an unlicensed dog kennel went before a judge today.
Irritating, just like from the beginning. He's been since everything happened, he's been very nonchalant about everything. Hasn't showed any remorse or any care, just going on with business as normal. So again, I was hoping he would take a plea deal. He decided not to, which doesn't surprise me because that's his character.
Greg Hauser pleaded not guilty today to 2 counts of first-degree animal cruelty and 1 count of running an unlicensed kennel. Court documents state that he was running a dog training and boarding business in Medical Lake. Prosecutors allege that at least 2 of the dogs in his care died, including Larry Lydelmeyer's dog, Andy. Court documents state that Andy and another dog were being housed in an aluminum dog trailer parked in the sun with no shade, and the dogs did not have adequate food or water and did not receive timely medical care. 2 veterinarians also stated the dogs had pressure wounds and were covered in feces when they were brought in. The prosecutor's office began investigating Hauser back in April as part of an animal neglect case. A Spokane physician has been suspended from practicing in Washington for alleged inappropriate conduct with a patient. Thomas Ostin reportedly raised a patient's shirt without her permission. He's also accused of making inappropriate jokes and comments about her marital status and her appearance. The incident happened back in April of 2021, and since then, Ostin has reportedly failed to show up at a pre-hearing surrounding the allegations. And just a month before the incident, he also faced similar allegations from 3 other women. Tonight, Spokane's Director of Neighborhood Housing and Human Services has announced his resignation, and he's only held that job for 3 months. John Hall was the newly appointed back in June by Mayor Woodward. He has now accepted another position in Virginia. One of Hall's primary focuses was the newly opened Trent Shelter. Spokane City Council President Brianne Beggs told KREM 2 that Hall was, quote, very frustrated with how he was treated, unquote. We have reached out to Hall for a comment, but he was not available today. This is a developing story, and we will continue to bring you the latest just as soon as we learn it. And that was your Night Beat. To learn more about any of these stories, just text us the word night to 509-448-2000, and we'll send them directly to your phone. In national news today, the New York Attorney General Letitia James filed a lawsuit claiming former President Donald Trump and his 3 children committed fraud.
The statements of financial condition were greatly exaggerated, grossly inflated, objectively false, and therefore fraudulent.
The lawsuit accuses the Trump Organization of providing false financial statements to lenders and insurers in order to get better financial terms, such as lower interest rates and lower premiums. James, a Democrat, alleges that Trump and his family business violated several state laws, criminal laws, and plausibly broke federal criminal laws as well. Lawyers for the former president called the lawsuit, quote, meritless and an unchecked abuse of authority. In a statement, Mr. Trump's attorney said, quote, today's filing is neither focused on the facts nor the law. Rather, it is solely focused on advancing the attorney general's political agenda, he wrote. Meanwhile, President Biden addressed the United Nations today, focusing on Russia's invasion of Ukraine and a call to nations to stand in solidarity.
Pursue their imperial ambitions without consequences, then we put at risk everything this very institution stands for.
President Biden accused Russia of shamelessly violating the core principles of the United Nations with its war in Ukraine. The president said Russia is trying to erase a sovereign state from the map, and he called on world leaders to hold the Kremlin accountable. Later in the day, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky addressed the same assembly in a pre-recorded speech asking for more assistance. Those comments came hours after a fiery speech from Vladimir Putin. After a series of setbacks in Ukraine, the Russian president said he is calling up 300,000 military reservists, and he mailed a veiled threat about using nuclear weapons, saying, quote, this is not a bluff. Well, tonight, most people in Puerto Rico remain without electricity or running water following Hurricane Fiona. This is video from the U.S. Coast Guard as they assess the damage from the storm to determine how federal and local agencies can help. Homes remain surrounded by water, while a flooded airport runway and a car caught in the flood were visible from the air. Hurricane Fiona made its way through the Turks and Caicos yesterday as a Category 3 storm. Tonight, New York City Mayor Eric Adams shared an additional team of New York City employees will deploy to Puerto Rico to assist with all the damage.
We know this is a painful moment. So many in our city are unable to communicate directly with their loved ones immediately after a hurricane like this. There are moments where you're unclear of what is taking place on the ground.
Authorities say that at least 1,200 people remain in shelters across the island tonight. In your Northwest news, the city of Coeur d'Alene is stepping up their recruitment of new police officers. This after the Coeur d'Alene City Council approved the new incentive program last night. The council unanimously approved the program, which will provide $80,000 to help attract 8 lateral officers who have at least 2 years of experience and meet other qualifications. So each hired officers will receive $10,000 in total, with $5,000 paid upon hiring and the other $5,000 after 1 year of employment. The program will be in effect with the new city budget starting on October 1st. And that was your KREM 2 News 10 at 10, where you get more news in less time. But don't go to bed just yet. After the break, the city is asking that a cooling tent near the homeless camp on I-90 be taken down tomorrow, while the organization running that tent says that's not going to happen. We're back in just 90 seconds.